Everybody, my name's Eric.
I'm Madi.
And we run the Horrible Things Film Club. We're Denver-based, and we host free film screenings, horror film screenings, to our club members, to the public. We have lots of different things that we put on as far as special events. And yeah, we just enjoy horror films and love celebrating it, talking about them. And yeah, we're so happy that you all are here. This will be a really fun event. This is our Horrible Things show. And what we like to do on this is do a couple of recommendations as far as things that are available on streaming, physical media releases that have just come out, theatrical things that are coming out, either new releases or repertory things that are getting a second run, which are always really cool to see in a theater. We have special guests. We have a wonderful special guest from 6 Feet Under Horror Fest who will be joining us in a little bit. They're a great Colorado Springs-based film consortium, and they do awesome events too. So we're really excited we get to speak with them. Yeah, Maddie, what else is going on?
This is our, last day for all of us here at this convention, but it's been super, super fun. We've had the opportunity to host a lot of Q&As with some awesome people, and we are screening Starry Eyes today at 2 p.m. with an intro with Alex Esso, who might be the nicest person I've ever met in my life. So we're really excited about that. If you are interested to come join us, that'll be in the Monster event, the main room. Yeah. So
it'll be really fun. Yeah. Great. How's everybody doing? How's the weekend been? I know we're at the last end here, but this is great. I'm glad you guys had fun. We definitely did.
Oh my God, yeah.
So why don't we jump into it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to kick us off? We'll start with our streaming pick.
Absolutely. My streaming pick for this show right now is A Quiet Place Day One. It was actually the last thing I ever saw at the Esquire.
Oh, yeah.
Heartbreaking. I have not seen the first two, full disclosure. I don't really have any interest in the first two, but the Day One was beautifully done and really exemplified why we need room tone.
Yeah.
So it's available on, I think, Paramount Plus.
Yeah, that sounds right, yeah.
But it's fantastic. Check it out. Wear headphones.
Wear headphones, truly. Are you all familiar with the Quiet Place series? Like, some of the best use of audio, I mean, that sounds kind of obvious when you think about it, but, we talk, it's a common thing people say that cinema is 70% audio. And, the amount you can evoke with just sound alone is an amazing thing. Yeah, that movie is really something special. It completely subverts your expectations of what a horror film is about and what it can be. And it's the quietest I've ever, theatrical experience I've ever had. Like, watching that movie with a room full of people, an IMAX-sized theater, and nobody is making a noise out of fear for what's going on screen is incredible. Like, people trying, desperately not to crunch popcorn too loud, or... It is a visceral and evocative thing, so it's really cool. It is
as a content not warning, the cat survives.
Hey,
so
bonus.
And we're good.
That was my favorite email I've ever gotten. We got to do a sneak preview, and I was like, please, just so we have friends who are sensitive to these kinds of things, can you let us know? And I just got an email that said, hey Eric, just so you know, the cat doesn't die. It's like, I want to get that framed and put somewhere. It's just such a funny thing. We have the trailer. I think we're going to play that right now just so you guys can see it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. All right, put it on your list if you haven't seen it yet. It's definitely worth your time.
Technically speaking, it is a puppet movie.
Oh, they do a lot of practical?
No, there's just puppets in the movie.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That is like the most harrowing scene in the movie. It's so touching. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Man. It's like a little short film in itself. Beautiful puppeteering. If you're a puppet fan, put it on your list. This is one of those movies, honestly, I kind of wish there was a way that we could experience films without any, preconceived idea of what it was going to be. You know, I've heard of, there was a thing that Ryan Reynolds was saying about Deadpool that he wanted, I forget what it was, that the Deadpool versus Wolverine or the Deadpool Wolverine movie would not even be publicized as being that. It would just be like somebody shows up to the first screening and it's this movie. Like, what do you mean you made $100 billion sequel to Deadpool that we didn't know about? I love the naive want for that. But watching this film, the first 20 minutes, 15 minutes of it really does feel like a really sincere drama about mortality and then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, it's a monster movie.
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It is. I definitely advocate for going in blind to movies. So I would say, if you can, try to see as many movies as you can without watching the trailers.
Yeah. And I'm a big advocate for there's no such thing as spoilers, so opposite. However, my pick for later is actually kind of completely subverts that too. So anyway. Okay, I got my streaming pick, and it's going to be a controversial one. It's one that I think people are aware of and are coming down very specifically on one side or the other. I'm actually just going to play the trailer. If you guys are game, and we'll go from there.
Animals don't get too hung up on reason. They just keep killing.
Sorry, Maddie. I know.
My only thought there is, wow, that trailer is just so much better than the movie.
How many of you heard of In a Violent Nature? Yeah, it's been in the lexicon. It's appropriate for the weekend, of course, the theme. It was released by Shudder on the streaming platform on Friday the 13th, of course it was. But if you don't know, what this is essentially the art house slow cinema version of Friday the 13th from the perspective of the killer, not Jason, Johnny, I think is his name. And you know, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. And I loved it, and that surprised me more than anyone else.
I hated it. It was so bad.
That's how it goes.
It has some really interesting practical effects.
Oh,
it's got some very amazing practical effects. I definitely would say watch it.
I know, it happens. I'm a big fan of the weird Gus Van Sant movies. I think we talked a little bit about. He did this movie, the pseudo Kurt Cobain one.
Last Days.
Yeah, and then Elephant, and there was another one. Oh, Jerry, which is. You guys ever heard of Jerry? Anybody here know Jerry? Jerry is. It's weird. It's Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. They're both named Jerry, and they're lost in the desert, and it's just them walking with the camera, not unlike in A Violent Nature, about 10 feet behind them as they walk for 7 minutes at a time. If you like that kind of stuff, you're
Yeah, who
gonna
wouldn't?
love
That
this.
sounds wildly entertaining. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I was really surprised. Like, I thought this was going to be such a gimmick. I thought it was going to be so stripped down to the point where it's there's almost no story. But I was really surprised at the use of expository dialogue in the distance and things like that. Like, it felt like a cohesive narrative as you're following along, and yeah, I think it pushed me over the edge from being like, okay, I guess I have to deal with this now as a thing, like I did with Skinamarink. Yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes the weird horror ones get you. And
I
it
think
got me.
the most infuriating part about this movie is my boss and my friend, he hates every movie that's ever come out, ever, with the exception of Freaked. We watched this movie together while we were on a job, and he absolutely adored it. And that is the most infuriating thing. I love most movies in general. I have a very low bar for liking a movie. This movie to me was just not a movie.
Oh, right.
It was just someone had a camera.
And a gimbal.
And a gimbal.
Terrible first-person shooter.
But definitely see it, form your own opinion.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. You may be surprised like I was.
Yeah.
I really had the deck stacked against me. And still somehow was like, I should give this a shot at least. And I was like, oh, Maddie's going to be real upset.
there are several movies where we just have complete opposite
Yeah,
opinions.
it happens.
And this is one of them.
Yeah, it's inevitable. But yeah, it's on Shudder now, so real easy access if you've got that platform. And check it out. Let us know what you think. Maddie, we're going to move on to physical media.
Physical media.
Okay. Do you want to play your trailer first, or do you want to tell folks what it is?
I'm so excited for mine. I think we should just play the trailer
Okay,
first.
We are back in 5, 4.
Now, here's Mr. Midnight, Jack Darrow.
Oh, good evening, Night Owls, and thank you for allowing me into your living rooms once again. Well, Night Owls, we've got a heck of a show in store for you tonight, and I'm very excited for you to see it all unfold before your very eyes. I really hope you love it. Gosh, I hope you love it. Please love it. Love it.
I'm trying to host a nationally syndicated talk show.
And I'm trying to help you keep it on the air.
We all know how important it is to keep our sponsors and affiliates happy, but in my humble opinion, there is only one person who really matters in this whole darn crazy business. And that is you, our viewer.
You're meddling with things you don't understand.
Whoa! Now, as you know, here on Night Owls, we think it's very important to keep an open mind. Please welcome Dr. June Ross Mitchell and Lily, the young subject of the book, Conversations with the Devil.
I really don't think it's a good idea, Jack. She's becoming more unpredictable.
That's a good thing. That's why we still do live TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first as we attempt to commune with the devil.
Lily, can you hear me?
Good to see you again, Jack.
Lily, return to me.
This isn't about ratings anymore.
No one's going anywhere.
How could you let it happen, Jack? How could you let it happen?
Please be warned, anyone with young children in the room. What you're about to see
You okay, Jack?
is profoundly disturbing and shocking.
You get out there, Mr. Midnight. And you knock him dead.
All right.
So good. I I'm also completely obsessed with David Dastmalchian. Anyone who's been in Twin Peaks is my best friend. He has a really excellent interview where he talks about how he never thought he would be like the leading man in anything. So seeing him in this as the leading man is absolutely brilliant. It has so much energy and so many different methods of filmmaking that are absolutely beautiful. My one piece of advice, if you aren't familiar with Bohemian Grove or that conspiracy, look into it before watching this movie. It definitely informs this movie really well. When we went to see it, we went with a couple of friends of ours who are Last Podcast fans. So I feel like between me and Cassie, we were like, totally enthralled. But Brandon didn't really know Bohemian Grove that well, so it wasn't as impactful.
Didn't quite have the same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know, maybe a little bit, but even still, just on its own merits with what it's doing, the mixed formats of the behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on in between commercial breaks and the very much just like the broadcast late-night TV show aesthetic that they put into that, and how they play with the idea of perception in that too. It's awesome. It's great filmmaking. It's really dynamic, and I don't know. It's just a really creative time for filmmakers right now. Like mixing formats, mixing aspect ratios, mixing into these spaces to create like different headspaces for you to meet what the characters are experiencing, and it's a really it's worth seeking out.
If you pick up the Steelbook, you also get an air freshener, which is pretty sweet.
What is the air freshener?
It's the Night Owls logo.
All right.
Jake taunted me with it already.
I'm sure there's a ton of behind-the-scenes features with the disc as well. Maybe there's a Bohemian Grove thing there.
Perhaps.
Okay.
How many of you have seen Late Night with the Devil?
Yeah.
Give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. How do you feel about it?
Hey, all right.
Yeah, universally loved.
100%. When does that happen? We love physical media. We think it's the best way to experience that kind of stuff. So if you got a Blu-ray player, if you got a 4K player, go get it. It is also
a PS5.
Yep. It's also streaming on Shudder. If you want to check it out that way, preview it, and then go, okay, maybe this is worth diving deeper into. But great pick, man. Yeah.
What is your physical media pick for this?
Yeah, this one just came out. And of course, like with the theme of the weekend, how could it not be the pick?
Did you know a young boy drowned here? He was my son, and today is his birthday.
Yeah, baby!
You won't believe my parents' cabin.
Here we are. Pretty nice, huh?
All right, you ready?
Let's do it!
Yeah!
Oh my God!
Hey, I'm not from around here, but I'm looking for my sister. She's gone missing. Have you seen her?
She ain't missing. She's dead. People go missing around here, they're gone for good. There's something out there.
We gotta get out of here. Come on, you guys. Oh my God.
This place is called Camp Crystal Lake.
Are you in there?
Police, open up!
Help! We got the guys killing everybody!
What are you doing, Dory?
What's wrong?
Jason!
His name was Jason. And today is his birthday.
So that is the 2009 remake of Friday the 13th. Again, this is one that kind of surprised me. I loathed the Texas Chainsaw remake. I couldn't stand it. I hated it on principle and wrote it off in, completely. Reading about the making of this one, Marcus Nespel is the director, had even less interest in making this one, which is a great start. But it's written by two really, really passionate fans of the series. They were also the ones that wrote the initial drafts of Freddy vs. Jason. That got changed up quite a bit too. But as far as like a distillation of the Jason Voorhees story, I think this is a really, really cool reimagining or kind of reassessment of it. It basically takes the first 4 films and combines it into one narrative. There's some variations on things that are kind of interesting and but work in its favor to make you have a connection with, or at least understanding of Jason Voorhees in a way that none of the other films ever had a chance to do. Not that it really is a requirement. He's a killing machine. That's all you really need. But I think the trick that they did with this one is, making you feel enough compassion or empathy for Jason Voorhees for you to be vulnerable and get murdered by him. Like that's the whole conceit behind it. Have you seen this one?
This was the first Friday the 13th movie I ever saw.
Wow.
Because this came out 2009, I was in middle school. I didn't get into horror really until I was in high school. But man, was I obsessed with Supernatural.
Yeah.
And Jared Padalecki, his birthday is on the 13th.
Oh.
And one year it was on a Friday. And so we had to celebrate by watching his reimagining of Friday the 13th. So me and my Supernatural friends got together and that was my first entry in the series, and I had just started getting hooked into horror. Started with Nightmare on Elm Street, and then went down the Friday the 13th after seeing this one. And I probably saw it in 2012.
Admittedly, this is there are some Michael Bay-isms. This was produced by him, and it's noted. I think there's some really great commentary about he had these great scenes put together, and he's like, more boobs. And they had to fire the actress because she wouldn't do it and bring someone else in. And it's like, come on, man, we're so close to a really good movie here. Can you just fuck off and go make Transformers? Whatever?
15, yeah.
Give that man a camera and go make him point at something. So even in spite of all that, I do think it represents a really, a cool summation of it, reimagining. It's the 12th film that they've made. So, of course, it's that irony of Friday the 13th cannot get to the 13th film. The last one was 2009, so it just kind of exists in this, suspended space. But it's worth checking out, And this has been released by Arrow Video, which they do amazing film releases, physical media releases with a ton of special features, 4K UHD. I did read a little bit that there may be some color issues that happen sometimes. It seems like almost every physical media company is now just sending out a fixed disc. So maybe worth it to wait a little bit, or, either way. The Blu-ray apparently looks great, but...
It's the DLC equivalent of physical media.
Damn,
yeah.
That's just where we are. You have to write on it bad disc and send them a photo. It's very silly stuff. But I really enjoyed that one. For just the folks in the room, I did also want to mention Severin is here. They're an incredible boutique Blu-ray dealer, and they've got some really deep cut horror films that we were super excited about. One was on your list, your pick for physical media, the last event we did.
Absolutely, go get Castle of Blood.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful Italian horror, very Hammer-esque.
Totally.
Or pick up House of Psychotic Women. It's a box set by one of our favorite reviewers, commentators, curators.
Horror aficionado.
Kayla Janice. It's a phenomenal collection.
Yeah.
Also pick up her book on it as well, so you can read and watch along.
Yeah, the paperback just came out, and Alex Esso in her Starry Eyes role is on the cover. So you're in good company if you're into that movie. Very cool. Well, I want to invite our guests up. Again, I'm so excited we have the 6 Feet Under Horror Fest. Leon and Dan are here. Would you guys come up and join us?
Sure, yeah. Why not?
How are you guys doing?
We are great.
We're so glad you're here. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Really exciting.
We've been big fans of your show. Anytime we get down to Colorado Springs, it's always a great time. Tell our friends who don't know, what is the 6 Feet Under Horror Fest?
Okay, so I'm Leon.
I'm Dan.
And this is Dan. And we're forensic pathologists. So we are physicians whose job it is to figure out how and why people die. And one of the main reasons I think we ended up having those jobs is because we both grew up loving horror films.
The 80s, the best decade ever for horror, and really any movies in general, I think.
And so we became friends. We worked together and kind of recognized a common passion of ours. And it's probably been now 12 years or so. We started showing, we just have a weekend where we would invite all of our friends. And I had a cabin up in Teller County, and Dan lives in Woodland Park, and we'd have a Saturday twice a year where I'd host, and we'd curate our own little films, and we would make themed meals and cocktails and just watch 5 or 6 horror movies in a row. And I would do sort of September, October. He would do kind of a summertime summer event, and it became like one of the hottest tickets in town. And it got to the point where we couldn't fit any more people in our basements or living rooms. And we'd do trivia, and it was really interactive, and it was awesome. And we would talk to each other, and we'd say, when it was over, like, I can't believe it's 6 months until we do this again. And it was truly our favorite days of the year.
And then COVID hit.
And then COVID hit, and that put a kibosh on that. But during COVID, we'd started talking about, hey, this got kind of big. I got to the point where I was using it as a fundraiser for my kids' school. We were selling tickets to it. And we thought, well, let's see if we could kind of take this on the road and see what happens. And as we were just starting to come out, there was a new theater that opened up in Colorado Springs called Roadhouse Cinemas, which is sort of a Alamo Drafthouse type place where you eat and drink and watch the movie. And through work, I got to know them, and they were trying to get opened up, and I went and helped them kind of navigate the new rules that they had to open with. And I said, what the hell are you guys going to show? There's like no movies coming out. And they said, well, we don't know yet. And I said, well, I have this idea, a buddy of mine, we've been showing movies. Would you be willing to lend us a screen? And they said, if you can get butts in the theater right now, we're all in with you. And that was now coming up on close to 4 years. Yeah, well over 3 years.
This is our 4th year.
Yeah, 4th year. And then we kind of ran with it.
Yeah, and it's not a typical horror festival where you have to wait every 12 months to do it again. Like Leon said, it's like once we do it again, we have that fever to just do it, in another few months. And so that's what we do. We do probably about a half a dozen shows a year. They're kind of mini fests, obviously, but that way we can kind of just, keep our regulars engaged and keep bringing in more fans over the ensuing year. But yeah, that's kind of our format. Again, it's at Roadhouse, probably the best venue in Colorado Springs anyway. And yeah, we're just having fun with it. We just finished a Texas Chainsaw Massacre 50th anniversary screening. We showed this amazing film going around the circuit right now called Cheryl. That's kind of a female version of Leatherface. So we paired that nicely with the Texas Chainsaw event. Had a great time with that last weekend, and then we have another one coming up on the 29th. It's a paranormal show with the paranormal guys here that you've gotten to see here. The Rocky Mountain Paranormal Research Society, long name. They'll be there to give a presentation, and then we're showing Poltergeist, Amityville Horror, both the originals. Lots of trivia, short films. We always show short films, so if you like...
Tell us more about that. That's something that Maddie and I really... your program is awesome. You bring out amazing people, be it the Addams Family you guys have had come out.
We had the Addams, yep.
Earlier this year you had Michelle Bauer and Briggs Stevens.
Yes.
And Linnea Quigley and Patty Mullen. You brought out, the Scream Queens.
We did, yeah. Yeah, that was great.
But then in addition to that, you also have a real affinity and love for local filmmakers, small filmmakers,
Yes.
short film filmmakers, and I that's something we really appreciate and feel was like a kindred kind of spirit quality. And so,
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
our priority is getting local filmmakers shown at our events.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much every show, I'm sure we have at least one local short film to show. It's always fun for them to come out and give Q&As and just, even the students themselves. And it's really interesting to see the different levels of filmmaking too. So you see these student filmmakers just starting out. They do a great job. I could never have done that when I was 14 with my little camcorder and the horrible sound, and you can't hear anything. So kids these days make amazing stuff that we're able to show, and so we like showcasing local students. And just kind of, I think that just helps us partner better with our community, right?
Totally. Yeah. And it's investing in this thing that we love. I mean, it's a hard enough thing to do. And if the least we can do is point people to work we think is really cool and really interesting, it's an easy lift. So.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and in Colorado Springs, our fans, the folks who come to our shows, don't necessarily have the opportunity to see some of these films, some of these independent films, if they're not making it to streaming at some point. And then when we take on kind of the student films in their high school, Colorado College, UCCS, and to have them come and sit there with their teacher or their professor or their parents and have their film shown on a giant screen in a real movie theater, you don't know which one of those kids is going to be the next great filmmaker. And that moment in their life was the first time they were like, I can do this. I can get there. And that's what inspires them. And so part of it is, we want to get together with our friends and talk about the movies we love, but also part of it is to have a sort of home in Southern Colorado for horror fans and then filmmakers in particular.
That's awesome. Yeah. So September 28th?
29th.
29th
Will be our
Sunday.
next one.
Get that right, guys. Don't mess that up like
Yeah, our shows are on Sunday. And basically what we've done...
Always Sundays.
It's always Sundays, and we've taken the true film festival concept, right? The trivia, the movies, the independents, the shorts, and we condense it down in basically a Sunday morning, afternoon, and try to get it all in there. Get you home for dinner.
Constant sellout, right?
Constant sellout,
not an event I've seen that hasn't sold out yet. So
and Roadhouse is good to us, and it's a great venue to watch a movie, and it's a lot of fun.
And it's guys, Colorado Springs. It's like hour 15. It's not as bad as you think, and well worth it. Well worth it.
Right off the interstate. Yeah.
We like it.
So thank you both so much. I'm so glad you guys came out. But before we have you jump out of here, do you have any recommendations? Anything cool that you guys have seen?
My favorite horror film of the year is Strange Darling, which I saw a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! I loved it. It was like someone made a movie just for me. It was great.
Wow.
The filmmaking was phenomenal. The acting was stunning. There were twists, there were turns, there was violence, there was gore, there was great special effects. I loved
When
it.
is Kyle Gallner not
Oh
perfect,
my God,
you know?
yes, absolutely.
Does everybody know Strange Darling? This may be one that kind of went under the radar. In a funny way, because they're like, don't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing that always happens.
Everybody forgot to go see it.
But it's amazing. It's a beautifully shot.
Absolutely phenomenal. Giovanni Ribisi shot it.
Yep, shot
Just
it.
the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Come on, Sneaky Pete. Get out of there. Well worth checking out. Shot on film. Kyle Gallner is amazing. Performances are like so weirdly nuanced.
Yeah.
Considering
Z
what it
Berg
is.
did the full score or soundtrack, I guess.
Yeah. Great pick. We loved it too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have not seen that yet.
I saw it
I'm
twice.
behind.
It's so good.
I'm behind on a little bit. I haven't seen Romulus either. I'm sure that's
Also great.
but yeah, I mean, there's some really strong Catholic-centric movies that have come out, including First Omen, Immaculate, which is probably the surprise movie for me this year so far. It was on streaming, and I thought, okay, I have nothing to do on a Sunday, and so I put it, start streaming it, and that was brilliant. That ending, that ending is one of the most brutal endings.
Yeah.
But it was believable.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing if I were that
We
person.
started texting each other like, "Can you believe that ending? That was insane." I loved that.
And then my favorite so far of the year, I love vampires, I like comedy, I like gore, so guess. Abigail. That's my favorite so far.
Loved it, man.
Are you excited for the new Nosferatu?
I am. I love Nosferatu and vampires. So I'm always nervous going into one that I want to really love. So I hope I'm
You got a lot.
Obviously, the crew's going to be great.
He's got high expectations.
Yeah, high expectations. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. You guys have a panel right after
this,
in the main room?
Yes.
Forensic presentations, true morgue stories.
True crime.
Put that on your list, guys. These guys are awesome, and please go check them out. Where do they find you? Social media platforms?
Yep, 6feetunderhorrorfest.com, and then
Instagram and Facebook.
Great. We'll make sure that we include that when we post this stuff up.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. We've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm so happy it aligned for us. So
thanks for having us.
Go hang out with these guys
Appreciate
this
it.
weekend, okay? And future. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we're going to get back into it. I think we got our theatrical picks, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up. How about you, Maddie? You ready to... you want to play the trailer? I like this. I like doing the trailer.
Yeah, let's do the trailer.
Okay.
A rumbling sound, then 3 sharp knocks. That's when you'll know that he's around. If it's in a word, or it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. Nothing bad's gonna happen, Sam. It's just a book. It can't hurt you. Someone's stalking me and my child.
I can't get rid of the Babadook. Babadook, duk, duk.
You'll see him if you look.
Very cool, Maddie.
It is the 10th anniversary of the Babadook this year. Jennifer Kent. It's an amazing film. It is playing at the Sloan's Lake and Littleton Alamo Draft Houses. Unfortunately, it is playing on the same night as one of our events, so maybe don't go see it, but also maybe do go see it, you know? It is.
I understand, but...
If you're not at our event, you need to be at the Babadook, is what I'm saying. That is September 19th. It's playing 6:30 in Littleton, 7 o'clock at Sloan's Lake.
Yeah, and we've gotten to talk a little bit with, it's come up recently. We were part of a program held by an organization called DeFi, and they brought in a visiting professor who talked about lots of different horror, trauma as an experience, and Babadook was a big focus of it. And we've got that on our YouTube. You should check that one out too. Really cool kind of, enhance and provide some additional context that would make that film all the more unsettling and great. Great pick. I'm really happy for that one. Mine is one that has not come out yet, but I did get to see it, and I don't want to overhype it, but it changed my fucking life. So.
People always ask for something new. It's inevitable. At 50, well, it stops.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself? Younger, more beautiful, more perfect. One single injection unlocks your DNA and will release another version of yourself. This is the substance.
I'm Sue.
You're hired.
Let's go.
A perfect balance of 7 days each. The one and only thing not to forget. You are one. You can't escape from yourself.
There's been a slight misuse of the substance.
This balance is not working.
Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop?
I'm fine. Everything's fine. You have to
Cut through yourself! Fat.
People are gonna love that.
Cannot recommend this thing enough. It comes out, The Substance. It comes out next Friday, the 20th. And this is a body horror masterpiece. If you're a fan of body horror, you're going to see things that feel very familiar. It is brutal. It is incredibly violent. It's also the funniest thing in the world. It is so rich. This is a filmmaker that we really love. She hasn't made a film since, I think it was like 2018. And so we're like, where's she been? And it's like, oh, well, she's been working on this masterpiece. So get ready for it. I don't know. I started this by saying I don't believe in spoilers, but don't seek anything else out. Go into it like you are now. And yeah, we'll see how you are afterwards. The title, the log line is "The Substance Changed My Life," and I was like, holy shit, that's for real. It was like I got hit in the head with something. It was an amazing thing. So yeah, that one's coming up soon. So see it when you can. I think it's going to be one that people are talking about all year. Well, thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us. Find us on social media. We're on Instagram at Horrible Things. We've got a Patreon that you can sign up for. We've got some paid tiers if you want to help us do what we do. But you can also use it as just sort of a newsletter using the free version. We'll keep you up to date on what we've got coming up. Thank you all so much. This was really fun, and thank you for giving us your time. Go enjoy the rest of the con, and we'll see you around.